Okay, welcome everybody to this month's stream. It's so wonderful to have everybody here. This is going to be a very interesting one because we're just getting like overwhelmed with all of these AI announcements. And I can tell you already that this stream is going to be a good one. We have pretty much exactly 1 hour to go through the following points, okay? So whether you're watching the recording or you're here live, we're going to cover the 5 best use cases that have been submitted to our past reasoning model challenge. Meaning, if you're not familiar with this, every month in 2025, we run a public challenge. We ask our public YouTube community and private AI Advantage community to work together and to share some of their insights, or like we challenge them to something. And what we challenged them to for the month of January was to share what they use o1 for. Now, obviously, since then, we got the whole DeepSeek thing happened. Now we have o3-mini, we have o3 deep research. We can talk about all that, but really what this is going to be about is reviewing some of the best submissions on how to actually use these thinking models for yourself, whether that's in your private life or in your work. There have been a bunch of submissions. Today, we're going to highlight some of the most unique and interesting ones. We won't be able to cover everything because they're just so lengthy, right? But we'll highlight some of the most interesting ones, and then we'll pick a winner, second place, and third place, granting the membership in the community. And in the end, I'll go ahead and I'll challenge you with a brand new challenge for the month of February. That is the plan today. But before we do that, let me just ask you, how's everybody doing? What's up? Like, are you guys okay? Like, seriously, like with all of these AI announcements, like, are you okay? Are you keeping up? Like, I know the DeepSeek thing was wild. Like, even I was even talking to my mom, and she was telling me about this Chinese AI, and it's like my mom doesn't usually know about these topics, but this really this touched on everybody. So like, let me just maybe ask, anybody here in chat already tried deep research? I mean, I would love to cover that, but like we gotta focus one thing at a time. Today we're talking about what reasoning models can do for you, but next time, maybe very soon you'll see some content on the other stuff coming out. In the end, we'll talk about operator and deep research, but I really want to focus here. We have an hour, and yeah, we have some seriously interesting submissions to review. And along with that, we're obviously also going to be, discussing the different options, the different models that you could run this stuff through. Because it's not as simple as just like a o1 use case anymore, right? Now you have DeepSeek, you have the Google model, you have the o3-mini, you have o3-mini high, you have o3 deep research, you have, it's just a lot. So here today, we'll spend some time making sense of this all, and most of all, having a nice and easy chill time while reviewing some AI use cases together. This should be good. I know I've been looking forward to this, and it's so nice to see many of you in chat. Ryan already pointing out that, hey, the DeepSeek thing was crazy, or like DeepSeek was crazy. Like, Ryan, I can only agree. And it was funny because like to all the, how do you put it, like AI enthusiasts or like people who are really like into this stuff day to day, that was a week-old story already, right? Like, okay, like a Chinese lab came out with a reasoning model that matches o1. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. And then like, I guess when people picked apart the research and got into like the numbers of how much it cost to train, that's a whole separate discussion. But that was wild. I know, like, it cost me some sleepless nights. Okay, so Joel saying he still way too confused by what DeepSeek did. Kept reading it's using OpenAI work, and I can't tell if it's an LLM using another LLM. And if that's what is going on, I don't understand the hype. Yeah, so it's a rather complicated, it's not that complicated, but it's like a rather lengthy discussion that I would like to use the hour here to really focus on, like, how to use these things, how to use these tools. That's what today's stream is about. But Joel, like, if I may make a recommendation, many people on this channel might know, like, I'm a big fan of like specific like podcasts and outlets. All In Podcast is one of them, and they had a fantastic segment on it last week. So if you really want to like hear the executive summary of it all, I think that was a really good 10-minute segment to listen to. So if you just check out the All In Pod, I think about 5 minutes in, they talk about it with David Sachs, who's responsible for AI and crypto in the US, and that would be a really good place to catch up on the info there. And then I'm happy to discuss it here in the end if we have some time left. But we only have an hour, and we have a lot of use cases to talk about. So let's see what else is going on here, and then let's get right into it. Okay. Niklas saying Gemini Flash is better and cheaper, but they have bad marketing. Is it though? Like, I can only speak from my personal experience. Like, I run a lot of like tests between these. Even like for the use cases that we're going to talk about here in a second, I run them for several models. And fun fact, like the benchmarks might suggest that o3-mini High is superior to o1 Pro, but from most of my results, I still gotta say, and I gotta kind of like say this after publishing the Friday video where I was just purely looking at the benchmarks and o3-mini High comes out on top. o1 Pro still feels like the most capable model, the most useful outputs. I'll just say that. That's just like a subjective vibes type of thing. I feel like it has longer outputs and it's, I don't know, it thinks longer, obviously. o3-mini High is super quick. It gives you answers in like 20, 30 seconds. o1 usually takes like 2 minutes. We can talk about this. So I would say let's get into the different use cases here. This should be good. Yeah. Nigel, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, they're going to roll everything to the Teams users. Hey, by the way, this is big news. I don't know if you've seen the tweet from Adam GPT, but he basically said that deep research is eventually going to come to free users too, right? So that's kind of big. So they're just starting with Pro, then going to the team, to like Plus plan. Eventually, like free users are going to get it too. He tweeted that today, which I was like surprised by because like only Pro users get only 100 queries a month. Okay. Yeah, been a crazy few months, guys. Crazy few weeks. So this is going to be fun. We are going to look at how to use thinking models, okay? And we're going to do that together, and we're going to do it by reviewing submissions to the 36th AI Advantage Challenge here in the public area for community. For anybody who is not familiar, we have an area that is like open to the public, completely 100% free. You can view all of this without even signing up. If you want to share a post or comment, you need to create an account. That's also free. Yes, we have, it is a paid community, like the inside area, like we do events and much more stuff. But the point is we have this public area too with various free resources, message boards, ask and answer questions. It's like a mini forum. And here in the public challenge, I basically asked you last month to share your best o1 use case. Since then, we got a bunch of new models. So, this applies across DeepSeek R1 and o3-mini and o1 Pro and all of that. But basically, various, community members and like YouTube community members submitted their best use cases. And I would like to highlight 5 of these today. And then amongst those 5, there's going to be free winners of memberships. But really what this is about learning together and discovering what these tools can do together. Because, no matter how smart you are, no matter how much time you have, this whole AI thing is just too large for one person to comprehend by themselves. That's why we do it together in the community on this channel. That's the whole idea behind this, okay? So the 5 submissions that we're going to review today, and not to take anything away from the others, all of these were amazing. I read through every single one of these. Thank you so much for submitting. But we gotta pick. We have a limited time here, and the 5 we're gonna look at is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. These are the 5 we're gonna review. I kind of want to just shout out everybody, including like some of these like great submissions here with Daniel, how he uses it, and Shay, how she uses it for storytelling, and Gerhard, how he uses it to actually teach together with R1. He's not using the outputs, but he was using the chain of thought that R1, for example, reveals to evaluate a human thinking process and comparing it to how an AI thinks. Like, I thought it's such an interesting like educational use case too. But at the end of the day, I wanted to pick, or me and the team, we wanted to pick items that other people could also apply to their like everyday life. And as stated in the criteria of the challenge, so these are the 5 that we picked. I think each one of these has a lesson in them that you won't get from just like intuitively using this by yourself, because like obviously, one of this is like relating to therapy from a therapist, and another one is relating to like comparing all the models from Carol. That was a really fantastic one. And then we have Niklas using it to like, do some mathematical calculations to split his vacation. money between all his friends. And then we have this one, which is all about like seating a, office problem with his seat. All of these are super unique and interesting and unique, just as unique as these individuals are. And that's why, doing this is so fun. That's why doing these challenges is so fun. That's why hanging out with a group of, what are we right now? 157 people in a room is so fun because we're all individuals and all the use cases we bring to these models are individual. And in this format, we get to learn from each other. So let's begin. Let's review all of these in no particular order, and then I'll announce who the free winners are. But it's really about the lessons here. So I would love for you to also like join me in the chat, leave your thoughts, leave maybe any follow-up thoughts, like maybe you didn't leave a comment here, but maybe you have one right now on what we're going to talk about. So let's go. We have 45 minutes to review 5 use cases for thinking models. Hopefully you can take something away here for yourself. Okay. So starting out, let's begin here. So Isaac submitted a quite simple but very interesting use case. And actually, like, I had to vote for this one myself. And I was like, okay, we got to feature this. Because let me tell you, his post inspired me to run a few prompts of my own. And we can talk about, that and which models are actually better at this. But basically, Isaac went in here and this is the prompt used. Okay, so I'll just read it to you and then we can talk about it. I want a good cushion surface for my office chair, but couldn't find any that was thick enough. Ideally, I wanted it to be 10 centimeters thick and under 47 centimeters wide and under 48 centimeters long. Can you come up with any suggestions? It can be another object, doesn't have to be a cushions, just something that works as one. Okay, so he basically wants to improve his office chair without buying a new office chair, right? This is like a thing where like a million things could be done, right? You could just purchase a cushion, you could purchase some custom-made product for it, you could self-create it, and using a thinking model for a sort of open-ended problem like this, I thought it was a really interesting use case. So whenever you face a problem and you have some constraints, like he has the size right here, right? Like I want it to be these dimensions. And he also tells it to, it doesn't have to be a cushion. It can be some other object too. I just loved seeing this. And when I saw this, let me tell you, like, it inspired me to run some prompts of my own when I saw this, because I'm currently facing a similar problem. So it's not a cushion. I actually really like my chair, but it's in my bedroom. It's next to a very busy street here in Lisbon, and I have a hard time sleeping. And like I did like a day trip on the weekend, and I slept in a hotel where it was just perfectly silent. And I slept like a baby. It was wonderful. I slept for 10 hours straight. Okay, and then I returned back here yesterday, and like it's just all the cars in Portugal. People like to honk a lot, and it just keeps waking me up. Problem. Okay. Same thing. There's no fixed solution to it. So like I just told it the dimensions of the room, and I described the problem, and I told it like what the situation is, and I can't even like change. The constraint is that I'm just renting. I cannot change the window. So like what can I do? And just like Isaac here had o3 solve his problem with his seating, o3 Pro just solved my situation with that. It told me like, hey, you could create like an insert that is like a second window that would be isolated on the side. I was like, oh, that's genius. So now you know what I'll be doing on the weekend. I'll be creating like a window insert as a second layer to bring me peace at night. But basically the point is you can, any open-ended problem where you have some constraints and some outcome you want to achieve, you can use these thinking models to think about it for you. And let me tell you, like, I didn't think of the fact that I could like add a second layer to the window. Like I described the layout of the room and how there's a little bit of, like, I would need to show you, but there's a little bit of sort of like a what would you call it, alcove, or maybe like a mini hallway, I don't know, that leads into the window. And like, it just figured it out. So he told it the constraints, not to like beat around the bush here too much. But basically o3 came back and told him, hey, there's a lot of options that you could do. Like, first of all, you could do a do-it-yourself approach, right? You could just purchase a sheet of upholstery foam from a local supplier. Here's some suggestions. And then you can use a sharp utility knife to carefully trim it, right? So this would be like the cheapest option. Like, awesome, okay. What else? You could buy a memory foam mattress topper, right? and cut it, I guess. You could layer multiple foam pieces, right? That's another one. There's other cushioned objects that you could consider, like therapeutic foam wedges. What the heck is even that? Okay, this is a therapeutic foam wedge, I suppose. You could use this on your chair. Like, would you have considered this on your chair? Not sure if this is a good idea, but I guess it's an option, right? So this is where these models shine. Like, I personally think this is quite neat because life is filled with open-ended problems, with real constraints. And you can just kind of transform this use case and this prompt to anything you might be facing. Sports or camping mats. Obviously, you could buy a cushion. Like, that's a given, right? So I thought this was really neat. And he also like just pointed out how it's more than just a model to like think for you and do science. It can help you solve real world problems. And if you like give it the constraints that you're facing, it will work around them and it will figure it out. I just want to round this one out. And maybe, you know, if you're here in the live, you can like suggest in chat, like what kind of problem could you be solving with it? Like you basically just need a problem or an outcome that you want to achieve. And then you need some real constraints, right? So for example, the thing that I wanted to point out here was that here. I basically ran this through o3-mini high and the o1 Pro. And my conclusion is that o1 Pro is better on this one. The sound is really low. Is that true? I can pump it a little bit. Is this better? You like this more? Okay. Oh, wait, hold up. The robots are coming. My robot vacuum cleaner is approaching. We don't want that in the video, no? Wait, let me send him back really quick. But here's my point, okay? So we'll have varied use cases, by the way. This is just the one we're starting with. Another one is like therapeutic and then like personal and then like model comparisons. This is just one that we started with. But hey, back to your base, Joseph. Okay, all right. So I ran this through o3-mini high right here, and I ran this through o1 Pro right here. We're not gonna spend like 10 minutes breaking, like, you know, analyzing this, but basically let me tell you, o1 Pro still had the better result. Like the output length is longer. Look, this is the length of o1 Pro. This is the length of, starting here. This is the length of o3-mini high. It's shorter, it made less recommendations, and the ones of o1 Pro were just more relevant to my specific use case. So in this case, I would say o1 Pro still takes it home. The robot cleaner. So I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, thank you so much for Isaac for sharing with us what kind of struggles you're facing with your cushion situation and your seating situation. But again, like see this as a template for, you know, a real world use case. Like, you know, it might sound a little like trivial, like, okay, like a cushion for a chair. But like the point is, you can really transform this to, okay, wait, okay, now he's relaxing. Okay, so let's have a look at the next one. Which one shall we do next? Let's maybe do something, let's maybe do one that is a little more based on the comparison. So Carol right here, she submitted a prompt to, and I really like this, she submitted it to 31 different models, okay? Including some that I've never heard of. Like, and it won. Anybody here heard of Gab AI? She ran multiple attempts in it, but like apparently Gab AI from like really nailed this one. But what I did, I followed up and I ran this also through o1 Pro, which also got it right, but in a funky way. And then o3-mini high, which came out after Carol submitted this, also got this right. And then she also ran it through DeepSeek in her follow-up, and that also got it right. So basically what she did here is she took a prompt which asked for the lowest possible number when written out in words, and it has to use all 5 vowels, which would be these. And it needs to use each one of them once. So this is a perfect problem for a thinking model. Like if you just come up with the first thing that a LLM gives you, it's probably not gonna be correct, but if you iterate like 10, 15, 20 times over that, it's gonna refine it and hopefully get it right. But I thought this analysis was very interesting because this simple prompt, well, you know, it might be simple to read, but hard to execute on. Like I doubt anybody here could just like do it within seconds, unless we have some super genius in chat here. But basically, this little problem is something that turns out to be quite hard and quite a good benchmark here, Carol. I like it. And as you can see, all of these different models gave nonsensical responses. Like, let's just pick up a random one. So for example, I guess Quen 2.5 coder was just memeing here with 42, but obviously that like does not include an A, for example, right? There's no A in 42. Maybe I should increase the size so you can read this well. Christian Rust asking, is o3-mini high still ahead of o3? So on benchmarks, it's not. Practically, you know, I guess it depends on the use case. From the few things that I ran through it so far, where I always like to run it for multiple models, I would just personally, like, if I had to pick one right now, I would default to o1 Pro, but it is way, 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 way slower, okay? So I would say, you know, benchmarks, o3-mini wins, but it takes 18 seconds. Feeling-wise, o1 vibe-wise, what do people say these days? o1 Pro wins, but it takes more than 3 times longer. So that makes, and the you know, the difference is like the difference is maybe 10-20%. Okay, that would be just my take on that. But anyway, back to this. So you can see Carol ran it through all these different models, the same problem, and all of them got it wrong except of Gab AI right here. So o3-mini and o1, for example, said 8,000. You know, let's double check it with the prompt. We need all vowels. So do we have an A in here? Yes, 1,000 with the A, right? Do we have an E in here? Yes, with the E right here. Do we have an I in here? Yes, I. Do we have an O? Yes, with the O, 8,000. And then wait, I need a quick reminder. OU, that's all of them, right? So, okay, so o1 got it right, but it's not the lowest possible number, because as you can see, 5,000 is actually lower than 8,000. So it managed to get the constraints right. It included all the vowels, but it's not the lowest possible number, because that answer would be 5,000, okay? So then I actually went ahead and I was like, okay, that's interesting. There's something missing though. There's DeepSeek missing, because like she added it here, but then Carol actually followed up with a second post in here where she followed up asking DeepSeek R1 the same question, and DeepSeek R1 actually came back and replied the correct thing, 5,000. Okay, so wow, DeepSeek R1 doing a better job than o1 on this, you know, single prompt. It's not even a benchmark, but like, okay, that's impressive. But then there's obviously 2 more things missing. There's o1 Pro missing, and there's o3-mini high. This naming, am I right? There's o3-mini high missing, okay? Facts saying, yeah, facts saying deep research got the answer 5,000. Okay, that's excellent to hear, because like that would align with my results here, because what I did is I ran the same thing through o1 Pro, and he really got a thing to get these names right, Jesus. And o3-mini high, okay? And o3-mini high came back with 5,000 after how much thinking? Let's have a look. 55 seconds. And o1 Pro after 3 minutes actually came out with a lower number, but it sort of cheated. But I don't know, is this cheating? Like, you be the judge, but it said 206. That's actually the lowest number, and if we do the check, is there A in here? Yes. Is there E in here? Yes. Is there I in here? Yes. Is there O in here? Yes. Is there U in here? Yes. So is this how you write 206? I don't know. Matter of fact, let's ask ChatGPT. How would you spell out the number 206? Oh, wait, I don't want to run this for o1 Pro. We don't have half an hour. Jesus. Wait. No. Okay, let's do for O. 206. So ChatGPT itself says this is... I guess in British English it counts. Like, I think it's fair, no? Like, the challenge, the prompt doesn't say like it has to be American English. Like, if this is fine, what happens if we Google this? Like, it's sort of sneaky, no? But like, it solved it. number to words convert 200. Like, I don't know. What do you guys make of this? Is it cheating? And is cheating? Ryan saying and is cheating. Facts. Okay. So there you go. So that's the result. So basically, Gab AI managed to do this. DeepSeek R1 managed to do this. o3-mini on the high setting managed to do this. Actually, let's run it also just so we have a complete test here. Let's run it through o3-mini low, which should fail, right? It should not. Let's do this just to verify o3-mini medium. But yes, like I thought this was really interesting and wanted to highlight it. O1 Pro sort of coming up with a creative workaround, let's call it that. You know, it switched to British English and it's like, hey, we could do that too. So again, like subjective test to get back to the answer in chat here earlier, like is o3-mini better or is O1 Pro better? You be the judge. You be the judge. A lot of it is subjective. We are here to show you the real world examples so you can make up your own mind. And let's see. So, you know, o3-mini comes up with 6,010, so it fails. See? So o3-mini medium fails. o3-mini high works it out. O1 Pro actually like outsmarts it and cheats a little bit and makes it work. And as reported by Facts in chat here, great name to be reporting like, you know, extra data. Deep Research managed, did it in 49 seconds and said it used one source from Reddit and got it correct too. Yeah. And then Soundwave saying this is proof that we always need to be specific with prompting. And yeah, there you go. Like, because if you're not, you know, it's like the whole, it's like many of the dystopian scenarios, like the, you know, whatever, let's not get into that. But yeah, the point is you have to be specific. If you know, maybe we can do this test and then move on. How about this? Let's round this out by giving this to O1 Pro and saying, without repeating any vowel in words, in American English. Let's give it this extra constraint, make it more specific and see if now it comes up also with, it should come up with 5,000, right? Because now we forbade the British English use case. And then Gab AI, I don't know, I guess I'll have to look into that, but like, interesting that it got that done. So there you go, that's the next use case. So Carol ran it through this and then analyzed the result and then concluded that, hey, you know, like DeepSeek works great, Gab works great. And then obviously the new thinking models from OpenAI also work great and got this really hard problem done. All right. Welcome, Carol. Okay. Julia, what is the best way to use AI to succeed in outreach? Ooh, maybe somebody in chat has a specific answer to this. Anybody in sales here? That's a good question. Like we have our own workflow, but that's like a separate topic. We have a lot of like human intervention in the middle, but like we have a system where we you know, draft responses and like research new people. That's a separate thing. I think one thing you really want to check out is the new product, right? The deep research product that's going to like work for you and pull together 40 sources and use O3 full to research either your prospects or design your strategy and follow up. Okay. So let's look at that. That's working. Now let's look at the next one. So that's 2 out of 5 down, okay? Let's look at the next use case here. As submitted by, what do we go into? Let's look at the Niklas one. Okay, so Niklas basically found a mathematical use case for somebody who's not a math PhD. Interesting. Interesting. Meanwhile, we have a little discussion around like the origins of the English language erupting in the comments. Please feel free to, you know, like debate that in the comment section, but we'll focus on like this this use case here, right, from Niklas that is also here. What up, Niklas? Hope you're doing well, man. Always good to see you around. And basically, he went ahead and he went on a trip with his friends. And Niklas and his friends spent a certain amount of money, and then obviously you're faced with this dilemma of how do we split this up? I've been in this situation before. It is a bit of a nightmare. If you have a lot of people and then if you add some like disturbing variables, like all of a sudden one guy left the night earlier and like the rooms have to be split, you know, between the 4 people, and then the 5th person only pays for 1 night less, and then like only these people took the car, and it just becomes very messy, you know, quite quickly. I mean, I can't help but say that there's applications that do this. Okay, there are applications that do this, of course. There's actually great free applications that do this, but I like that you threw this at O1, and I like that you showed us a way to use this tool that actually makes sense. And I also liked that you used the prompting framework we talked about in the last stream, which is a very basic prompting framework that was shared across Twitter. I just reshared it here on the stream, and it basically goes like this. You share a goal, you share what return format you expect from it, you share any warnings or any like negative prompts, something that you don't want in there, and then you just add all the context at the bottom. So right here, Retic saying how to use AI to create my latest medical research. My man Retic, I think you really like this next submission here from Dirk. If you have a few more minutes of patience, I'll show you one way to create research papers with AI. Okay, so right here, he follows the content, the prompting format that we talked about last time. This is no iron rule, you know, you can prompt it however you like, but it really helps. Something like this really helps. We talked about goal-based prompting on the channel and the community a lot of times. It's different from instruction-based prompting. Instruction-based prompting tells it to write me an email, and goal-based prompting tells it, hey, this is the destination I want to get to. And then basically you let the model figure out how to get there. You don't give it a specific path because then it will be rigid in the way it thinks. If you prompt it concretely with instructions, like in the first example, Isaac did here, then it's going to, you know, like only give you questions. That's why he even went ahead and told it, he even gave it a warning. Wait, no, turn on Do Not Disturb here. He even gave it this warning building block. Where is it? This one. He even told it that, hey, you know, like, where was this? It can be another object. It doesn't have to be a cushion, right? He told it, like, don't just think about cushions. Like, think outside the box, pretty much. You could also say that. Think outside the box. You use unconventional and creative approaches. You can use all of those keywords. But basically, I like this prompting structure here because it gives the model the freedom to find its own way to reach the destination. You tell it what kind of format you expect. Do you want this in a table? Do you want this in a PDF? Actually, thinking models can't do that right now, but like, what are you expecting? You know, he was expecting a WhatsApp style message to send to his friends, right? So you include that here. You include a negative prompt or a warning or some limitation, and then you dump all the context at the end. So he did that, all of that right here. You can look into all of these, by the way. I'll share a quick link in the chat to this one. And other than that, all of these are publicly available, and we'll also leave them publicly available. I don't know, I guess until this next challenge is over. We marked all of them with hashtag 35, so you can see all the submissions to this challenge here. You can review this yourself over the next month. At the end of the stream, I'll introduce our next challenge, which is sort of going to be more of an entertaining one. So right here, this is how he prompted it, and then O1 actually went ahead and did the entire split and showed the entire calculation along the way and split up the accommodation and the totals for him, and even wrote him a WhatsApp message that he can now send to his friends on WhatsApp. This is something quite simple, but I think this is a great kind of template that you can take away from the stream. Just like the first one is a great template for like, hey, I have a problem and I have some constraints, solve it. This is the same thing, but like with some math involved, right? Like I have a mathematical problem and there's multiple people involved and there's some constraints in here and I want you to figure out the solution. The main point here being that he gave it a destination. I want to send an easy WhatsApp message to my friends who joined me on a recent trip. The message should clearly show how much each person needs to pay, broken down by expense category. He told it a goal. He didn't tell it how he wants to achieve it. He didn't tell it how to calculate it. He told it, hey, this is what I want to achieve, and you figure out how to get there, okay? Just like in the first example, the model wasn't only looking at cushions. It told him, hey, you can do all of these different do-it-yourself or like alternative approaches, and like you can use these different objects that you might have not considered. This is the same thing here, but it's involving math. That's why I also wanted to highlight this, because it can do these calculations, and it did. It wrote the message. Niklas shared the entire thinking process here, and here's another thing that I absolutely love. So Niklas has been with us since the very beginning of the channel and since the very beginning of the course that then turned into our community here. So Niklas has a lot of tricks in his bags, and this is one particular one that I like. So he also created a song. He created a song to show off the the problem solving here. But like the one thing that I really want you to also take away from the stream, everybody else, is he created this little dashboard, and this is what a lot of people don't consider. Like they're like, "Ooh, Sonnet is really good at creating front ends." Hey, but I don't need a front end. Now, the thing to consider is like, you maybe don't need a website, but maybe you need to show off something in a visually appealing way. And something like Sonnet, or now ChatGPT Canvas and sharing the chat, or like sharing the screenshot of the HTML site it built, or the React site it built. It's not about this thing being functional and you being able to press the buttons and stuff like that. It's really not about that. It's about displaying this entire analysis in a visually appealing way in seconds, okay? So if you have a look at this, you will realize that this is like probably the most visual appealing way to present this whole submission. Like, check this out. This is the amount that we spent on the group trip. These are the different expense categories. These are the participants. This is how, like, who would have created that? Like, usually isn't like the default thing that you could expect from, a few young guys going on a trip. It would, like, the most sophisticated version of this ever would look something like this, like, like, this is what I would do, it would be like, and then I would be like, like Igor, Tom, whatever. Then tell me, what looks better, this or this right here? I mean, this is not, it's not really subjective. This is wonderful. So, okay. So moving on to the next use case here, but I just wanted to briefly show off this wonderful interface. And yeah, it's just a more efficient way of sharing something. And if you're doing something for work, or if you want to impress a girl, whatever it might be, this is a good move right here. Look, creating an entire interface. And he even created the comparison where GPT-4o obviously got the calculation wrong as to be expected, and o1 got it right, even showing off the calculation method down here. So he basically turned the whole thread into a dashboard. And just keep in mind, this is an easy follow-up prompt that you can do. You just go inside of Claude. You might have any type of conversation, and you just follow up in the end with, turn this into a dashboard. And it will, create an artifact for you that looks like this. This is created with another service that Niklas is using right here, one of the third-party services that aggregates multiple APIs. And yeah, basically, I just wanted to share this because this is like a really, really good, simple follow-up prompt that you can do on top of everything. And if you weren't aware, now you are. Thank you so much, Niklas, for sharing this, your O1 use case, and how you transformed it into the dashboard. Okay, we have two more here. We have one which is using R1 and thinking models to spawn an entire army of researchers and create a research paper for you. And the last one is using our O1 for therapy. Let me think, which one of these do we want first? Doesn't matter. We'll tackle both of them. Let's just go with the therapy one because it's a bit more concrete and this one is a bit more open-ended. All right. So, Robert Pace, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this. This has been a fantastic read, and I gotta say, I love how you also presented the comparison here, right? Because Robert, seems to be is in the free area of our community, and Robert seems to be a psychiatrist that basically is also an AI enthusiast and is trying to find different ways to use these models, and especially these thinking models, to progress his practice and to progress in his domain. And concretely, this is a use case where in therapy, O1 can be used to string together and to apply different frameworks to the context of a patient. Now, I want to just make a big disclaimer here that obviously this comes with a lot of privacy concerns, right? Nobody should be sharing confidential patient data with a model. Doesn't matter if it's a Chinese model or a US model. Doesn't matter if you're on the pro plan and they're not using it for the training data. That is some of the most intimate information that there is. And if you're interested in like the privacy aspect, there was actually a great discussion down here between Stavros and Robert himself, and also Gerhard joined in. They were talking about the privacy implications here. I think these are some great insights, and also Robert pointed out how he's tackling this in Australia. If you're interested in the privacy concerns that we will disregard from here on out in this post, because we're talking about the use case and not the privacy implications, then you can check them out down here, but they're important, okay? And I just wanted to point this out. So if you care about those, you can check out the comment section of this post, and you can join and kind of share your 2 cents too. Again, you can just create a free account in the community platform and leave comments. But basically what he did here is he ran, and this summarizes it pretty much. He ran a specific patient, a fictional patient in this case, as he says, through both GPT-4o and o1, and he gave it a therapeutic framework to apply to the case of the patient, okay? And I thought that was super interesting because you can really see the difference. And I think this really showcases the difference between 4o and a thinking model in a very elegant way. Because if we just back up and we talk about what he inserted here without reading out every word of this post, he basically comes in with the 5P framework, which apparently is a therapeutic framework here, where there's 5 different factors: a predisposing factor, a precipitating factor, a perpetuating factor, a protective factor, and a presenting problem. Here's the example that he used in this post, okay? And this illustrates it really well. So as you can see here, the predisposing factor is childhood bullying, workplace stress and conflict is precipitating, avoidant behavior is perpetuating the problem, and protective mechanisms here are self-awareness, a strong work ethic, and financial stability. And he's presenting the problem, and the problem presents itself in forms of social anxiety. So, in other words, I think actually this formulation here is a good one. The case of Emily S., fictional character, 27-year-old marketing associate with social anxiety, illustrates the potential of this use case. Her symptoms are avoidance, self-criticism, and physical anxiety. And they all have a significant impact on their life, okay? So now that we have the information about the patient and we have our framework that we will be applying here, all the details are up here, but Robert basically took all of this and ran it as a prompt inside of o1 and inside of GPT-4o. And then you can look through all the details. By the way, I would highly recommend you check out all the details if this like little, if the summary of mine interests you. Then you can check out this post. I'll share the link in the description. And basically, the different models applied a completely different approach, okay? And this very much aligns with what I've been preaching since the release of these models. And what I've been preaching is like, thinking models, they're really good if you need to consider the bigger picture. If there's a bigger story here. If you're performing financial analysis, but it really matters what happened in the past and what the roadmap is moving forward. That's when these thinking models shine. When there's a bigger story here, and obviously in therapy, every chapter of the person's life matters. All of these different factors, they matter. They influence the social situation. The social anxiety doesn't come out of nowhere. There's a root to the cause, right? So the bigger picture really matters here. And o1 is excellent for that, as you can see in some of these examples. So any prompt, it's like anything that's like storytelling, any creative writing, o1 is just better at that because like it can conceptualize and it can just abstract away from the current problem. It can think on higher levels and it can consider the full picture. That's what I've been always saying in different ways, different words, different videos, different streams. That's where thinking models shine. This shows it so well. Let's look at the concrete example here. So if you use o1 and apply the 5P framework, then you can, then here's the comparison between o1 and GPT-4o. So you can see this as thinking model versus traditional non-thinking model that just spits out a result right away. So it connects Emily's bullying history, workplace conflict, and avoidance behavior. It also identifies self-awareness and financial stability as protective factors to leverage in therapy. And then in contrast, GPT-4o mentions these factors separately, but failed to connect them into a cohesive narrative. For example, it listed Emily's perfectionism and social avoidance, but didn't relate these traits to her workplace challenges or suggest leveraging her strengths. right? So this comes in many forms, and there's different shades of this within this post, and I really like it for that. But basically, I wanted to show you one more, which is the recommendations it made in the end. I think it was this part. Okay. So here, yeah. So what are the tailored treatment recommendations, right? O1 suggested practical evidence-based interventions like cognitive restructuring, graded exposure, and mindfulness. These were explicitly tied to Emily's needs and symptoms, meaning it like considered the whole picture of Emily and not just the current thing it was solving for. And GPT-4o, it provided general suggestions like, hey, consider therapy, practice relaxation techniques, lacking personalization or a detailed rationale connected to Emily's struggles. And I think this is really the story of thinking models versus non-thinking models, traditional models like 4o or Sonnet. Like they're really good at solving certain problems and really good at writing code, but they're not good at considering the bigger picture. They're not good at considering the entire history. And therefore, they're less personalized and more general. I mean, everybody knows by now that the biggest problem with like all these AI model outputs is that often they're just not personalized enough. They're too generic. They sound like something that a robot writing a Wikipedia article would say. That's sort of a good, that just came to my mind. But like, that's what it sounds like, no? Like, they're not thinking about the bigger picture. They're just executing the current task and thinking about the next word. This is a great example of that. You can look at the whole thing. Here's a beautiful table also comparing it. So for example, it's like here in the reasoning and insight category. GPT-4o identifies past bullying, but failed to link it to present challenges. So it realized that, okay, there was bullying, but like it didn't see the link between that and the consequences in her life today. Whereas O1 connected it to the current workplace struggles and proposed actionable solutions based on the history, right? So I hope you understand the point here that like whenever there's a bigger picture and there's a past and a future, and it's not just about the current problem, O1 is really good. So in Niklas's use case, it was all about like solving the mathematical issue today. And that is great. And O1 is better at math. And that's why O1 is it's a great use case for that, because GPT-4o would just fail because it's terrible at math. Because also in math, you have to consider like, okay, we're adding these two numbers, but like, wait, hold up. There's like a multiplication over here that we should do first. So like, you know, GPT-4o goes through and adds the numbers and then there's the multiplication, but like, you got to multiply first. A very simplistic example, but that's the point. So I wanted to expand on this a little more because I feel like it's an important point. And yeah, so this is a wonderful submission right here. There's also a flow chart, and then he concludes that, hey, you know, O1 demonstrates that reasoning models can significantly improve case conceptualization in psychology. And that there's a real future for this technology in that field. And yeah, I couldn't help but, you know, hop in and share like my thoughts that imagine what a model like this could do if it had voice recordings of all the therapy sessions. I mean, again, like privacy concerns, of course, but like I'm just saying, just what if, right? It could be super powerful eventually. So yeah, and it could just uplift everybody's mental health in the world, independent of your income. Like not everybody can afford a therapist, but many people could use one. I think this is pretty cool. So there you go. That's this use case. Hope this was informative. Okay, I have one more here, and then we'll pick winners and announce the next challenge winner. So this one I'm going to, gosh, Dirk, you always like knock it out of the park with like unique stuff. Look at that. Dirk took a GitHub repo that basically goes ahead and allows you to orchestrate multiple AI agents to create a research paper for you. He even recorded a video here that outlines all of this in a few minutes, basically giving you a custom video tutorial on how to do this. But this is so cool. So this is existing repo. This is not a repo that he created. He just took it and customized it. And he's using R1 in the background. But then also if you want to use other models and other APIs, he also has versions for that. This is Windows only, unfortunately, for all Mac users. But he even updated it to the second version where it uses the browser to research online. But basically, this is an AI engineering lab that you can run for free. This is the original repo. It's the Agent Laboratory. This is the original like research paper that he based it on, but he basically customized it to use R1 and to use his own prompt. And in case you don't know how to like write the prompt, he even created a GPT for you where you can customize the prompt for yourself. And the output of it, let me just show you the output here because there's just a lot here, too much to review in 10 minutes. But the output of it is right here. He included several research, documents that this created. Obviously, like now we have OpenAI deep research, but this is just a completely different approach. So for example, here's an Alzheimer's study. Check it out. So, and this is what it came up with. Wait, can we, oh, that's some random picture. Wait, can we open this in a browser? So it formats it. Let's see. Ah, it doesn't format it. But basically, this is the research paper that it came up with like a dozen AI agents coordinating and basically producing a result. So it's not using one instance of O1 or R1, but it's using multiple, and it's letting them work together. I highly recommend you check out this post. He included all the details and all the downloadable files here. You could just get the executable right here, I think. And in case you're wary of privacy and like you have any security concerns, fair enough. I could just tell you, Dirk is one of the closest and most trusted members of our community since the beginning, and like I wouldn't be afraid of whatever he shares in here. He's been sharing stuff like regularly ever since he joined the community. And yeah, just thank you, Dirk, for being awesome and for like always exploring, always pushing the boundaries. Matter of fact, Dirk messaged us today. He wants to hold a spontaneous workshop on GPT building in our community tomorrow. I think Matthias is getting back to him and is like, yo, hey, Dirk, you're here. Like, why tomorrow? Can we do it next week or something? Like, give our members a chance to sign up. If tomorrow is the only date you can, well, let's do it tomorrow. But just saying, thanks for being awesome. And yeah, you can check out the o3-mini lab hosted on Streamlit, I guess, over here. Dirk, you can add some... Oh, he's saying he actually made a Mac version. I know there was multiple community members asking for that, and you don't even need to download executable. You can just try it in here. You can put in your OpenAI API key for O1, and you can research your topic and your focus area, and you can start the research. Okay, so I didn't see the updated version. It looks like you updated it. There's an online version now. You don't even need to install anything on your machine. There you go. So anybody who wants to try the research lab, yeah, Dirk was awesome enough to like put all of this together, make it easy to use. So if you want, you could just head on over to, this web app. I guess you have to put in your OpenAI API key, but again, like no worries. Dirk is a trusted member here. And yeah, you can just give this a shot, run this and use the agent laboratory without having to code. Cause like Dirk set this up already and this is what he does regularly in the community. So that's awesome. So yeah, there you go. You can even like use the different models. Really interesting, insightful post and a really unique use case for O1. No, like literally R1 orchestrating a group of researchers to pass it around. There's a project coordinator. They start with the literature review. If you check out his video, it's all in there. It starts with the literature review. It moves forward. It writes the paper. It reviews it. And then like, obviously it has all the resource references and everything. And it's just one of the best workflows to create a research papers with AI or like a draft of a research paper. And now obviously we have deep research, which is a good strong competitor to this. So I guess we'll have to test that too on the channel. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. So those are the 5 use cases that I wanted to highlight on today's stream. And now we're left with 2 questions in the last 5 minutes of the stream. First question, who won? What's the first place? What's the second place? What's the third place? I have a ranking over here. And secondly, what is the challenge for the next month? Because we'll do the same thing 4 weeks from here, but we'll do it on a new topic, okay? So you'll have another challenge, you'll have another chance to win. Okay, so what is the outcome? Okay, let's do this quickly. Third place in this month's challenge, and basically winning a free month membership worth $250 is Niklas with his research use case. Wait, let me find the little applause icon. Okay, enough of that. Good job, Niklas. Man, it's always amazing when you submit stuff. I love that you picked the prompting format that we suggested and that you applied it effectively. I love that you created the comparison dashboard. I think there's a lot for people to learn from this quite simple yet very effective use of a thinking model. You presented it wonderfully. You even included the songs, bonus points for that. And yeah, third place goes to Niklas. Congrats. We will add it on to your membership. It's wonderful to have you, man. He, as per usual, he's even here. So that is wonderful. Okay, second place goes to... Let's pull up all of these. Second place in the O1 challenge for this one goes to Isaac Turner. Isaac, also congratulations, man. Not sure if you're here right now. I'll hit you up in the DMs in the community. Welcome to the community, man. I just love this. Like, I personally found it so inspiring. By the way, all of this was done as a vote between me and the team. So team members, including Matthias, who's here in the chat, who runs the events in the community, shared their votes. And this is like a blend of the different opinions. But basically, second place going to Isaac this month. Also 3-month membership. Welcome on board, man. And then last, but certainly not least, actually not last, actually in first place for this month, we have 3 submissions remaining. Dirk's Agent Laboratory. We have Carol's Big Comparison and benchmark across all the models, showing us what works best. And then we have Robert Pace's therapeutic use case. So out of these 3, do we have a drum roll? We don't have a drum roll. God, now I have to do a drum roll myself. I can do a drum roll myself. I'll put in a little trombone. No, that's the wrong. You don't want the sad trombone. Oh no. What else do we have? Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this month's challenge is Robert Pace. Everybody share a little clap emoji in chat or something. Give a thumbs up, leave a like on the video. It's so amazing to have you around Robert Pace. We would love to welcome you to the community for a full year. The community of actually like academics and psychologists, like educators and psychologists are some of the 2 strongest subcommunities within the AI Advantage community. So I think you'll feel right at home. This was extremely insightful. And I have to say, this was really impressive. And thank you so much for submitting this. And I think everybody can learn something from this. I highly encourage everybody read this. I just wanna address like Erhard's comment here. Also, like if it's not Dirk, we have to recount. We absolutely love Dirk's submission here, but it was just not aligned with all the criteria we put up. You know, I believe I don't have them right here, but like we reread the criteria and it was basically about the most useful like everyday use case or like most creative use of it, and also it was built on top of a repo. Obviously, incredible job. And like we just love to see it, and there's all of it out here, and thank you so much for sharing, Dirk. But we just thought, as me and the team, we just thought that this one in psychology really shows off the potential of O1 for an individual and how it can help, because everybody can literally do this. You can go ahead and you can make a list of the different challenges you faced in your life and things and obstacles that you had to overcome. And then you can give it this framework that he gives you here. You can copy his prompt right here, and you can ask something like O1 on what are these different factors? What are the things what are my present problems? How do these combine? And like, what is the solution that I could move forward with today? It's a legitimate therapeutic use case that is completely free, right? R1 is freely usable. O1, I believe on the free plan, you could run this through o3-mini high. We just figured this would be something that maybe a lot of people could potentially make use of. And we even had people in chat point out that, hey, that sounds a lot like my life. So like maybe you could do this and you can customize this prompt, run this yourself, and it will make practical recommendations that are actually worth something, that are actually personalized. You can learn something about yourself. You can learn something about this tech. Again, you know, keep an eye out for the privacy, but like, you can run a local version of R1. You could download LM Studio, run it locally, run this prompt, get some practical advice. So yeah, so that was this month's challenge. Thank you so much, guys, for submitting and participating. I hope this stream was helpful. One more thing. We have a new challenge for the next month, okay? And we'll end on this because in the community, we actually have a town hall starting 3 minutes ago, matter of fact. I should be there. So like, let's wrap this up. I'll need to move on over to the monthly town hall we do, where we basically like review the roadmap and what's new and what we're doing this month. But the next month's challenge is pushing ChatGPT's limits with the tasks feature, okay? So we're going from one of the most useful and breakthrough innovations in the AI space to one of the least useful ones. Let's be honest here. But we're taking a different angle here. We're taking the we're taking the angle where you need to create, and like you basically need to submit to win this challenge. You need to submit a funny use of the ChatGPT tasks feature, okay? All the details are outlined in here, and we're throwing in a little bonus. We're testing this out. We basically did cash prizes before, now we're doing membership. First prize is not just gonna win a yearly membership, but is also gonna get $100 on cash on top. So anybody who's watching this, if you were interested in the community, but you're like, hey, I don't, you know, for myself, I can't afford it, or I don't, like, doesn't line up for me, you can participate here. You can come up with a funny task. All the details are outlined in here. Basically, it's very simple. You just need to, you know, go to ChatGPT and you need to create a scheduled task, and we're gonna judge it based on the creativity and individually how funny we find it. I'll bring on some guest judges for next month's stream, and we'll review all your different tasks and how you're using this feature, where ChatGPT basically runs a prompt on a schedule for you regularly, and we'll pick the funniest ones. They will get $100. They will get a yearly membership. They will get quarterly memberships, and they will get the infinite glory that comes with being featured on this stream and in this community. Guys, it has been my pleasure. I hope this was informative to you. In 1 hour, we covered 5 different use cases. We challenged you to a brand new challenge right here. You can check out all the details. Basically, the process is the same. You just create a new post here. You share it. The criteria we'll be evaluating it on are right here. This is what we'll be judging it on. And you need to submit by March the 2nd, which is a month from now. And that's it. We'll be doing one of these every single month for the rest of the year. We'll switch it up. Some of them, like this tasks one, I can't wait to see all like the comedic prowess that we have in the community here. Show me your funniest tasks. Come up with something. Maybe you have some really funny prompt that you used at some point. Schedule that damn thing to come out every day at 7 a.m. I don't know. You tell me whatever you come up with. This doesn't have to be in depth. It doesn't need to be super thoughtful. It just needs to be funny. And that is in the eye of the beholder. That's why we'll have multiple judges on this one and, you know, enter to win a yearly membership and $100 in cash. And that is basically what we got for today. Maybe some final questions, and then I'll be moving over to the town hall, because surely everybody's hanging out in there already and waiting. But that was the stream for this month. So there you go. We have a random guy saying, I have a task created to remind me to cry about something I have been waiting for years. I've been wanting for years, waiting for years. Yeah, share that, man. A random guy, share that. You might win $100. Carol, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for submitting and for doing all the testing. It was very insightful. I think it helped a lot of people just checking out the stream. Cosmic Cells, will you test deep research for us? 100%. Already on it. We already have tasks running internally. This is just not a video that I wanted to rush right away. And also I couldn't. It came out yesterday, Tokyo time. And I had the stream to attend to and the community to attend to. So you can expect a video pretty much, I think tomorrow. I think tomorrow we'll come out with a video. Yeah. We're already testing it. We already have multiple people on the team on it. And yeah, there you go. All right. Thank you everybody for joining. Congrats to the winners. And yeah, it's wonderful to see all of you here. It's always good to hang out. You know, we'll do one stream like this a month, you know, and expect videos, updates. All right, everybody who's in the community, see you in the town hall. I gotta run. I'm late anyway. Thank you so much. Again, all links are in the description in the chat. Thank you for joining me. And yeah, don't forget to submit your funniest task. This could be a fun one. Like always these creative, funny challenges, they always like, they're not just good for a laugh, but also some of them like might spark ideas on how to use AI, you know? So it's the best of both worlds. All right. Thank you, everybody. And see you soon. Bye-bye.